Revising and Editing by Dwayne, Carter, Drew, Bell, Emily, and Cassidy.
So when you write a process essay, you want to make sure that it's in chronological order, which is putting the events or ideas in the order that they occur. And most essays will follow this order with very few exceptions. If your topic has a really compelling reason to not be in chronological order, then that reason should be very clear to the reader. So chronological order splits the processes up into phases or stages, and then they are further split up into steps for the reader. Like, for example, in the article, the stages of changing a tire is jacking up the car, then removing the flat, then putting a new one on. And some steps in jacking up the car may be pulling the e-brake or blocking the other tires or loosening the screws. And by covering all stages and then by covering all steps in each stage, it helps the reader follow the narrative and understand the topic better, and it gives them a bigger picture to see how events are related.
So when revising and editing your essay, you should ask yourself this question. Have you included all necessary steps and omitted any unnecessary digressions? The information should be concise but informative in order to give the reader a better understanding of the information provided. Here is a sample text from an essay that has been revised to include the necessary steps and omit unnecessary digressions. In the first picture, you can see that the words that have been highlighted red are going to be removed from the text. And in the second picture, you can see some words highlighted in red that are added to improve things like word choice, transitions, and the overall flow of the text. These revisions and edits serve to enhance the essay.
Now we discuss how to keep your readers engaged when supplying a lot of information. You should stick to one big idea and have a strong introduction that grabs the reader's attention. Do not stretch out reasoning because it gets repetitive and boring. Use comfort words, not big ones that will confuse the reader. Finally, relate to your audience. This is a significant factor because it helps in remembering information. You should not be predictable, be different, and give something that people are not expecting. And in this sample essay, we are shown comfort words, a strong introduction in relation to the audience. In the orange, we have small but strong vocab words that emphasize meaning. The blue is a strong hook, and the purple relates to the reader.
So it's important that each step in your essay fits into the process in some way. So it's important to organize these steps into stages, mainly being chronological, as we mentioned before. And it's important, of course, to include every single step. So you have to be knowledgeable and think about the steps that you might not necessarily think about if it's a topic that you're very interested in writing, because somebody else reading might not understand that as well as you. You don't want to over-explain anything. You want to provide the exact necessary amount of information needed so as to not confuse the reader and supply them with way more information than they need. In the example on how to properly wash your face, it says, next lay a washcloth soaked in warm water over the face for 1 to 3 minutes. This action opens the pores and makes the subsequent steps more effective. So the highlighted section explains exactly why the specific step is important without over-explaining anything. It provides just the right amount of information to not confuse the reader.
Using informative transitions. They should be enlightening as possible and indicate movement. For example, deciding on a college is often a difficult decision for students. Therefore, most school counselors try to provide students with different resources, such as assessments and college brochures. However, counselors need to provide students with more resources in order to help them make a more informed decision about what college to attend. Compared to transitions such as first, second, and third, transitions like however and therefore indicate movement and give the reader more insight on a subject. These transitions in the example help the reader to gain more information on deciding on a college. Informative transitions should also indicate how long steps last, when they start and end, and where they occur.
And here is a video on revising and editing. Now for the activity, first is a true or false. Changing the text in some way is revising. That's true. Next, editing is fixing the text in some way. That is also true. These are both important. Next is a yes or no. Should you use the acronym ARMS when revising and editing your work? Yes, it is important to be able to move, remove, add, and substitute things. Here is our bibliography. Thank you for watching.